Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video we're going to sort of go back to the basics when it comes to Photoshop. A lot of people want to learn Photoshop and they can be kind of confused when they log in here and see all the different tools that you can use. But for this video, I want to kind of go over one of the main tools that you might use when it comes to editing your photos, and that is layer masks. So what exactly is a layer mask? Think of a layer mask as a way of temporarily erasing something from an image in order to show what is beneath that image. So for example, I have this image right here, this desert scene, and I want to add these clouds to that scene. So what I need to do basically is, for lack of a better term, erase this current sky so I can reveal the sky underneath. So a lot of people might think that you would actually select your scene here and go over here to the eraser here and just start erasing the sky. And it starts to come through, no big deal, and look what happens. What happens if I make a mistake right here? When I erase it, I really can't get it back other than doing a Command Z and undoing everything. And then I can try to go back here and kind of finesse it a little bit, and I still might mess up, and I just have to keep Command Zing to undo. That's just not a really great workflow. So this is where layer masks come in really, really helpful. So in order to apply a layer mask, you really have this little layer mask button down here. If you hover right down here, it looks like a square with a circle in there. If you click on that, that is a layer mask that you're applying to your image. So when you click on that button, you're going to see a white square right here. And what this basically allows you to do is paint either white or black on it to reveal or hide a scene. So if you have a white layer mask here, nothing really changes on your image. But if you go and get a regular brush, you can say I just grab a regular brush here and my foreground color is set to black. I'm basically doing the same thing as I was doing when I was erasing the image. And you can see I'll go down here and I kind of mess up and get a little bit more on the dunes here. This is where the layer mask really comes in handy. I can flip my color from black to white, and I can do that by clicking the X key on your keyboard. And now that I have my white here, I can go back in here and fix where I messed up. I can go back in here and it's starting to paint more of the dunes back. You can see what I'm doing right there. I'm painting more of this back. I didn't erase anything. I just basically hid the scene instead of erasing it. You don't ever want to erase anything, because that's really destructive editing. Now, one thing you could also do is, if I go over here and I'm just going to delete this layer mask, I'm going to right click on here and say delete layer mask. That's going to take that away. What I can also do is, as a way of kind of painting in a scene, I can hold the Alt or Option key on my keyboard and choose a layer mask. So when I do that, it hides the whole scene. It hides this whole desert image because I have a black layer mask. Black is going to hide pretty much anything. And so what I can do now is grab my white brush right here, and I know the desert scene was down here. I know the dunes right here. What I can do is paint them back in. So this is really, really helpful if you have something that you want to, if you kind of want to paint back in a little bit more than you would reveal something. So like for this, if I have the dunes here, I can just paint back in just where the dunes were, kind of select where I want the dunes to go, and you can kind of see how it's going here. Really helpful that way. So again, a black layer mask is really great, and again, it's a non-destructive edit, so I can just right click here and say delete layer mask, and it brings everything back. So if I wanted to get this sky in here again, what would be a really great way to do this? Well, first of all, I would want to go ahead and select the empty area of the sky here. So you can do that in many different ways. You can get a magic wand tool and start going in here and start selecting the different parts of the sky. Just make sure you get everything. I kind of already cheated and did that a little bit, so I have a selection saved. So I'm going to go down here and just choose this, and you can see I selected all of this. And what's really cool about this part of it is if you have a selection and you want to apply a layer mask to that selection, you can basically just click on this layer mask here and it's going to hide the dunes. And obviously we don't want that. We want to hide the sky. So we can do a Command Z. We can go over here to selection and we can do inverse selection. And what that's going to do is actually choose the dunes. And now we're going to click the layer mask button again. And there we go. There's our sky revealed here. And for this example, we can move this around, and there we go. So we basically kind of went from having something like this to having something like that. and that was just all done with layer mask. And if we wanted to go back in here and kind of finesse these edges here to make sure they're not as jagged, you can see here we got a little bit of jagged going on here. If we wanted to do that, we definitely could with this layer mask, because we can have a non-destructive edit. So if out of all the tools in Photoshop, if you're really heavy into photo manipulation, layer masks are really the way to go. You really want to play with layer mask more. You're going to probably see a lot of advanced editors out there. If you look at their layers in Photoshop, you're going to see that they have a lot of layer mask, because they're probably one of the most powerful tools in here. Yes, you can paint a lot of stuff. You have content aware fill options and clone stamping and all that kind of stuff. But layer masks are really helpful when you're working with tons of multiple layers that you need to reveal or hide, and you want to do non-destructive edits. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that quick intro to what layer masks can do and how they can help you with your images. If you want to learn more about Photoshop, Lightroom, all that kind of fun stuff, head on over to Sleeklens.com. We have a whole big blog section. We have a lot of products over there to help you with your photo editing, and I hope you enjoyed that. So this has been Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I'll see you in the next video.